Welcome to another video tutorial. In this video, we're going to take a look at the topic of gaining XP and leveling up. So we're going to first of all talk about how the system works in RPG in a Box and how to set it up. And we'll also talk about some things to bear in mind with the system if you want to do various different things, such as, for example, a progress bar that resets every time you level up. There's some things you need to sort of understand with how RPG in a Box handles the leveling up. So it's not quite as straightforward as that, but I will talk you through how to do things like that later on in this video. But let's start out first of all by taking a look at the XP system in RPG in a Box. I'll explain how it works and how we can set it up so that as we play the game, we gain experience and we level up. So the first thing you need to do is you need to go to the Stats tab, okay? And the first thing we need to talk about are the 4 stats that are relevant to the leveling system in RPG in a Box. So the first of those is the player.stat XP. So if you scroll down in the character stats, you'll find the XP stat here. So this is the stat that contains how much experience you have gained while playing the game. So this will start at 0. And as you kill enemies and complete quests and do all the things that which you as a game designer have decided to give the player XP for, as your player plays the game, they will gain experience. And this stat here will contain that experience. So it will go up as they gain XP. Then we have player stat level. This is their level, so they'll start at level 1, and then when they level up they'll be level 2, and then when they level up again they'll be level 3, etc, etc, etc. So this stat contains what their current level number is. Then we have the next XP stat. This contains the target goal of XP that you need to gain in order to level up again. So the first time when you're level 1, for example, and you're going to level up, this will be how much XP you need to gain in order to level up to level 2. Once you then level up to level 2, this number will automatically change to then be your next target number, okay? And we'll talk a little bit more about this when we start setting up the leveling system. You'll see how these are connected to the leveling system a bit more. But just to quickly explain, these are the 4 you need and what they contain. And then the last one that's relevant to the leveling system is the next level stat, and this basically contains the next level on from the one you currently are. So if you're currently level 1, this stat will contain the number 2, and then when you become level 2, so when your level becomes 2, then this will contain 3, and then when you level up again and you're now level 3, this will contain 4, etc. So it's always whatever the next one you're going to become is, that will be stored in a stat called next_level, okay? You can set a maximum and you can set a maximum amount of XP and level for those, but you cannot set that for your next XP and next level stats. You'll notice the maximum value box is not present on these 2 stats, whereas on level it is, and on XP it is, okay? So this is where you would set how much XP, the maximum possible XP the player could have, or the maximum level the player could have. So if it's impossible for your character to ever level up beyond 100, then you would set that to 100, and then they would effectively not level up anymore, okay? So why do these not have maximum values? That's because these values are directly tied to this system down here, the leveling system. So on their own, these stats pretty much do nothing, okay? And in fact, if you weren't to set up any of this, these would not even exist in the game. Let me show you what I mean. Let's just quickly run the game for a second. So here we are in the game. If I bring down the console and I print my player.stat XP, then that will come back as 0 because I don't currently have any XP. Now I could give myself some XP if I do player.stat XP. Let's give myself 50 XP. Okay, now nothing visually happens. You don't see anything appear on the screen. But if I reprint my XP, you can see it has gone up to 50. Okay, if I print my level, you can see I'm currently level 1. Now, if I try and go up a level, level +1, let's say, so I go up to level 2, if I reprint my level, I'm still level 1. Okay, so I can't level up. And a big part of that is because if I print the next XP stat, it's null, which basically means it doesn't exist. So why doesn't it exist? And also if we print next level, that also is null. So the reason that we're not leveling up is because these two stats are null. And then why are they null? They are null because we haven't set anything up here. Okay, so it's important that if you're going to create a leveling system for your game, you obviously need to add the actual levels themselves. So if we click plus here, you'll see we get a level 2 and a required XP. This stat here is automatically filled by this box. Okay, so this will automatically be, in this case, 100. Okay, and then this value, this stat, is automatically populated by this box. So this will be 2. Okay, because these didn't exist, therefore these couldn't get their values, therefore they didn't exist either. Does that make sense? So the moment you start creating levels, let's just do a couple more, then these boxes here are where these automatically get their values from. So because you start at level 1, the next level gets its number from this box here. And the next XP gets its number from this box here. When you then reach this number, so your XP, this one here, reaches this number, then this number will change to 2. This will then automatically go to the next box down and get the next number from there, as will this stack go to the next box down and get that number and fill that in. So without having these automatically in place, these can't work, and therefore neither does your leveling system. So I hope that helps to explain how the system in RPG in a Box works and why it works the way it does. Okay. Now there's a few more caveats you need to know about the RPG in a Box leveling system, but we'll get to that once we've set it up. So let's now take a look at the leveling section we've just started to talk about. So what you do is you click the green plus button and you add the levels that you want in your game. So you would obviously add as many as you have in your maximum. So let's say for now we said the maximum was 6, right? So we've got the same amount of levels as we have the maximum, okay? And then you set the required XP as the goal to level up. So for example, we need 100 to get to level 2, we need 200 to get to level 3, we need 300 to get to 4, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Now you can adjust these values. So we could make this 500, for example. He says we're going to make it 500. Oh, you can't make it. Yeah, sorry, you can't make it 500 because you've already got the ones underneath. So let's just quickly delete these for a second. Let's just start again. So in level 2, let's say it's 100. And in level 3, we want this to be 500. And then level 4, let's say we want it to be, 1,000. Obviously, you would adjust these, but this is just to show you how you would change the values, okay? Now, as you've seen already, and I was going to mention it, you can't go lower. So what I mean by that is we can't say, level 2, for example, is 200, and then level 3 is, 100. That's just not going to be allowed. It has to go up from the previous one, even if it's 1 up, but it has to go up. It can't go down. It can't be 199. It's going to automatically put you to at least one more. It can't even be the same, okay, because you've got to at least make progress, okay. Now this is tied to the way, and you'll understand this a bit more when we talk about sort of the things to bear in mind with the leveling system once we've got it set up. But this is tied to one of the issues you need to remember with the way RPG in a Box handles leveling up, okay? So let's say 300, okay? Now, it will automatically go up in, by default, by 100 each time. So if I keep adding, you'll see that it goes up 100 a time, yeah? So 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, okay? However, it will learn a new pattern. So if I say you need 20 to get to level 2, I add another one. By default, it's going to add 100, but let's say 40, so that's another 20. When I then add again, it's now recognized, oh, you're going up in 20, so now it will do that. Does that make sense? So that's quite cool feature, but you just have to train it with a couple first, and then it will recognize the pattern, and then it will apply that pattern throughout the levels. Now, obviously, if you want to make it tougher as you level up, you can obviously do that as well. So you might not want it to be a static number. So let's say 100 to get to level 2, and then let's say you want 300 to get to level 3, so that's an extra 200. And then now it's going up in 200, but now let's say you want it to go up 300, so that would be 600. So it always remembers the previous one by the looks of it, so that's doing another 300 now, but let's say you wanted 400. So if you want it to sort of get tougher and tougher to level up each time, and you want therefore the amount to double and then triple or whatever you want to do, you're going to have to get in there and manually change these numbers yourself. But if you want to use the auto system, by default it's 100, and then other than that, give it 2 example values, and it will then remember and apply that through all of the levels, okay? So for example, let's say we wanted it 10 a time. This would be 20, and now it's going to go up 10 at a time. Okay, so let's leave it at 100 for now. So go up 100 a time, and let's just add a couple of levels. So the other thing to talk about is the stat increases section on the right-hand side here. This allows you to set per level, so in this case level 2, how much your health, your attack, your defense, your movement, your speed, your currency, and also any custom stats you might have set up, how much they increase each time you level up. So let's say my maximum health goes up by 2 the first time I level up, and then when I level up to level 3, let's say it goes up another 3, let's say, and then level 4, it goes up another 4, whatever. Obviously this is adding on to your existing health, so it's not setting it to 4, it's increasing it by 4. So you can set, individual increases per level, and that's the same for attack, defense, movement, speed, currency, and if you had a custom stat, so let's just quickly add one, let's say bravery or something like that, then you could set bravery on level 1, it can go up by 1, on level 3 it can go up by 1, level 4 it can go up by 2, etc, etc, etc. Yep. So that's that. So another thing to bear in mind with this, however, though, is it's applied across the board. So if you have party members, then this will also give those party members the same increase. So you can't currently choose different stat increases per party member. So if you've got a party, let's say, of you and 2 NPCs, and you set at level 2 for the maximum health to go up by 2, that won't just apply to you, it will also apply to your 2 NPCs as well. So if you wanted your NPC to only go up by 1, whereas you go up by 2, that's not currently possible with the inbuilt system. You would have to start scripting custom leveling up per NPC. That's beyond the scope of this video. I might address that at some point if there's enough demand for it. But for now, I just want to go over how you just set up a game to level up, okay? But just bear in mind that as part of the inbuilt system, this section applies to everybody in your party, including you, okay? So we've now got a few levels set up, level 2, etc. We need 100 XP to level up to level 2. So let's quickly test that this works. So if we quick play, actually, good thing to talk about this, actually, because I need to mention this. How do you gain XP? It's all well and good setting up, but if you're not sure how to actually gain XP, how do you do that? So one example here, we're going to put it on these enemies. I'm going to select this goblin here, and I'm going to scroll down and set him to attackable in real time, turn that on, always hostile. And then the experience points option here, let's set that to give us 50, okay? And we'll do the same on this goblin, attackable in real time, experience 50, okay? So every time we attack kill one of these goblins, we're going to get 50 XP. And so because our target goal is 100, once we've killed both of these goblins, we should level up. Right, so now we've set the stats. Let's check that when we kill them, we level up. Okay, so we just gained 50 XP from killing that one. So as soon as we kill this one, we should level up. And there we go. So if we print our things now, so let's print our player.stat level. We can see we're level 2. And if we print our next XP, we can see that our next goal is 200. And we can see that we've got 100. Okay, and obviously our next level would be 3. Okay, so everything's sort of working there nicely. So now let's talk about putting a user interface in. So let's quickly add a widget called XP. And what we'll do is we'll add a progress bar to, let's say there. I can fill the widget, and I'm going to add a couple of text labels. So one here where I'm going to write level, and then we'll have another one beside it, and this is going to be an expression. So I'm going to click the insert. Let me slow down a bit. I'm going to click that, click insert expression, and I'm going to scroll down to player stats. And I'm going to find level and click OK. So that's now set to get rid of the text. That's now set to show the player's level. Okay. We'll add another one just under here where I'm going to type XP, and we'll add another text label just here. We'll make it slightly bigger. And this is going to have 2 expressions in. So I'm going to first of all delete the text. Click insert expression. This is going to be another player stat. This is going to be XP. So player stat XP first. Then I'm going to put a forward slash like that. Click insert expression again. Player stat next XP. Okay. So that's basically going to show us what we have and what we need. Okay. In this box here. Now, in order to set up the progress slider to be connected to our XP, we need to change the current and the maximum values. We can also change our fill mode. So typically you'd have it go left to right, but you could have it go right to left if you wanted it for some reason to go this way. Top to bottom if you wanted it to fill vertically, bottom to top. But obviously, typically it would be left to right. So we'll leave it as that, but I just want to show you that you can change how it fills. You can obviously change the color and the background and everything. But what we are interested in is the current and the maximum value. So we want to set the current value to our XP stat. So player stat XP. And our maximum value should be the next XP stat. Okay. And we'll just make some amendments to the size of the widgets. And we'll make this open in the top center. And we'll give it we'll make it draggable so we can move it around, and we'll give it a close button as well. And we'll call this experience. And then what we'll do, we'll save that, and we'll go to the game configuration, input bindings, and we'll make sure you're in the right mode for your game. Is it grid or is it free movement? In my case, it's a grid movement game. Add binding, I'm going to press the L key, and then I'm going to set it so that when you press L, it will toggle widget. So it will open and close, in this case, the XP widget. Okay. So every time we press L, it will open and close this widget. So if we quick play, so here we are in the game. If I press L, up comes our experience widget. So we can see what level we are. We can see that our progress bar is currently empty, and we have currently 0 XP. We need 100 to level up. So let's go kill this goblin. Okay. Now, there's a bit of a bug at the moment with RPG in a Box. Hopefully this will be rectified at some point. But currently, if you kill an enemy in a real-time combat game, you will gain the XP, but it just doesn't reflect on the widget until you refresh it. So if I close it with the L key and open it again, it will show you that you do actually have 50 XP. If you give yourself XP with other means like scripts and things, it will work. So I might show you a workaround for that in a bit. But for now, let's level up. Okay. Now we can see we've leveled up to level 2. And in this case, it did actually work. That's interesting. So that particular goblin did refresh. So it's obviously not a consistent bug, but it does happen. So we can see we've gained 100, but now our target has moved. Instead of being 100, it's now 200. So that's why the progress bar, although it filled a second ago, it then immediately went half full, because now we're on the next level and we've got our next target. Okay. So this brings us to a topic which we're going to cover at the very end. There's a couple of things I want to discuss first, but then we'll go over this at the end. Is people want to know how to reset this every single time, how to reset the slider to 0 every time, so you're always filling it and then draining it, filling it, draining it every time you level up. The thing to understand is that the way the RPG in a Box leveling system works is these numbers can't go down. Okay, for example, if I open the console and I try and set my XP, so player stat XP, and I try and deduct minus equals, let's say I try and deduct 100, so to set it back to 0, it will tell me I can't. It says character's XP cannot be decreased. Okay, this number, this stat, can only go up, as can this one. Okay, in RPG in a Box, you're always evolving. You can't ever devolve, if that makes any sense. Your level can never go down. Your XP can never go down. Your next XP can never go down. It's always an increasing system, okay? So if you want this progress bar to reset every single time, then that's going to have to be a disconnected visual thing rather than actually directly tied to these numbers, because we can't reset these numbers, okay? So as I say, at the very end, I will show you how you can do this, how you can reset this slider, but it has to be done a very sort of different way, okay? You can't just tie it to these numbers, okay? But before we get to that, let's go over another thing to bear in mind with experience. So let's also talk about other ways in which you can gain experience, because obviously we've got, in our map, we've got these 2 goblins where when we kill them, we gain 50 experience a time, okay? And obviously you could set experience per goblin. So this one, for example, could give you more than this one, etc. Okay, they don't have to be the same. We can also set up a turn-based battle, okay? And when we set up an enemy in the turn-based battle, you can also set the experience. So here, for example, I have a turn-based battle where each goblin gives you 50 experience. So we have 2 of them in a turn-based battle, so that means we level up again. So let's go into the game one more time. Bring up our widget. Let's kill this goblin. So we gain our 50 XP. Let's go kill this goblin. We'll level up. There we go. We've leveled up again. And now if I bring down the console and I start battle for now, because I haven't set it up to be in the game itself, but if I start the battle we've set up, and I go and kill these 2 goblins, we should level up again. So close this and open it again. We've got 150. And we're now level 3. And now our next target goal is 300, and we've got 200. Okay, so you can see you're always progressing. Okay, so let's go back to the editor for a second. Now, obviously, you might want to give the player XP, for example, if they complete a quest. So if we added a quest, we could say, the quest is to, find an item for someone and then give it back to them or something like that. And then when you complete the quest, you want to give the player 50 experience or 20 experience or whatever. Now, you'll see that there isn't an experience option for quests. So what you would have to do is put it in a completion script. Okay, so just to show you how you would do that, let's go to the script editor and create a new script called gain XP for now. And you would just simply put into here player.stat XP plus equals, and then the amount you want to give them. So let's say 20 experience. Okay, so then you save that script, you go to your quest tab, and you set that as your completion script, gain XP. Obviously, your completion script can do more than that, but at the very least, if you want to gain XP for completing a script, make sure your script has in it player.stat XP plus equals whatever you want to give them. Okay, so now we've got a quest that can give XP as well. So we can test this by just saving it and playing the game. So if we bring up our widget, we can bring down the console and we can start. I can remember the command. I think it's give quest. Give quest. And then it's quest 001. Okay, that should have given us the quest. So now if we complete quest 0001, it should fire off that script and we gain 20 experience. Okay, so whenever you complete a quest, you gain XP. Okay. It can also be put on interactive items. So, for example, if you find something in the world, like something you need to pick up, then if you go to the map editor, let's find an object. Let's say you had to interact with this bookcase, and it gives you a book, and in doing so, you gain experience. So when you interact with the bookcase, so where's the script section? Character interacts, again, gain XP, as well as, you give them the book and things like that. So any event that can happen where you want the player to gain XP, just make sure the script on that event has player.stat XP plus equals and then the amount you want to give. Okay, and that's how you basically give experience. Okay, so with that out of the way, now let's talk about the more complicated topic of how do you disconnect the visual system, the progress slider, this slider here, from the XP and next XP stats, because as I said, these can't be reset. So if you want this progress bar to reset, you're going to have to do it a different way. Okay, so let's quickly talk about that as we end out. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the startup script. Let's close this. We could also do it let's do it in game configuration actually. So we're going to go to game configuration, we're going to go to global properties, and we're going to set up a couple of global properties. And they're both going to be number. Okay, so we're going to add a global property, and we're going to call this current XP or current underscore XP. And we're going to add another one, and we'll just call this max XP, let's say. Max XP. So these are going to be sort of similar to our XP and next XP, but these are going to be our own system, okay? And this is purely just for the visual side of things, not for the actual behind-the-scenes workings of RPG in a Box, okay? So with that set, what we need to do now is in our startup, we should set those things. So let's go to our startup script and edit. So once we've loaded the map, or maybe even before we load the map, we want global.property max XP to be the same as player.stat next level. Okay, so that by default will start as 100. If that's the goal to reach level 2, this will start being 100. Okay, next XP that should be. What I'm going to do is I'm going to now set our slider to, instead of pointing at these two stats, our current value is going to point to, must be further down. I'm going to find it. I'm just going to type it. Global.property current XP. That's going to be our current value. And let's just see if I can find it here quickly. There it is, global property. Still have to type it anyway, but this is then going to be max XP. Okay. So our maximum value is the max XP global property, and our current value is the current XP global property. Okay. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to leave this one still set to our stats. Okay. So we can see the difference between the way the game handles the stats and the way our slider handles the stats. Okay. Just so you can understand a bit more the difference between the two. Okay. So, what else do we need? So, every time we level up, every time we gain XP, we need to increase our global property current XP. Okay, this number here, we need to increase this every time we gain XP. We should also increase this. So we need to think about where in our game are we gaining XP. Well, at the moment, when we complete a quest, so we need to edit this script. So as well as giving us 20 XP, global.property current XP should also gain 20. We know that once we reach 100, we're going to become level 2. Okay, once we become level 2, our target goal will be 200. Okay, and then we'll get to level 3, which basically means we need 100 more. Okay, the difference between 100 and 200 is 100. Okay, so if we've got 100 XP, okay, as soon as we gain 100 more XP, we'll reach 200, and therefore we'll then become level 3. Once we're level 3, we'll have 200 XP. We need 300, so once we gain 100 more, we'll level up. Okay, now that's important because if we set our progress slider to reset every time we level up back to 0, but we keep the maximum set to these numbers, these here. Let's say, for example, okay, we are level 1, we gain 100 XP, we become level 2, but instead of keeping the 100, we set the slider to 0, and we need 200 to level up, okay? Our slider is going to be disconnected from our XP. This might be easier to show you rather than talk about it, so let's do that. So I'm going to set this for now back to player stat. Max, or next XP, okay? Just to show you what I mean. There's one more thing we need to do before I can actually explain this. We then need to go to game configuration, and we need to go to the global event section. And here we have a player character levels up event. So every time you level up, this event is fired, and therefore you can put a script onto that event. So let's make a quick script for that event. We'll just call this level up. Okay, so when we level up, what we want to do is we want the global.property current XP to be reset every time you level up, because that's the objective, right? That's what we're trying to achieve. We want this slider here every time you level up to go back to 0 again. So that's what we're doing. We're saying once you've leveled up, set this back to 0. Okay, so let's go to our script and save that and go to game configuration and player character levels up, put the level up script on that event. Okay, so now let me show you the problem that you've got. Okay, we've got a nice empty slider, we've got no experience, we need 100 to level up. We're currently level 1, all looking fine. Let's go kill this goblin. Great, we've just gained 50 XP. Let's go kill this goblin. Great, we've just leveled up. Okay, so our slider is empty again. Fantastic. And we're level 2. We're ready to gain a whole new set of experience. Okay, now the problem is this. Our XP stat is still 100, and it always will be, because remember, you cannot make this number go down. So you still always keep the experience you gain. However, we've set our global property now to be 0 in order for this slider to go all the way down to the bottom again. We need 200 to level up, okay? But this slider is going to be counting from 0. We actually only need 100 to level up, not 200. So what that means is, if I bring down the console, let's just move this so we can see it. If I type player.stat XP plus equals 50, and I give myself half of the required amount, and then obviously we need to update the global property. So global property current XP, let's pretend we've just leveled up by killing a monster or something. So then it would equal the player stat XP. Well, actually, if we make it equal the XP, it kind of works, because obviously you're always setting it to what this is. But if we hadn't done that, if we'd done it the other way around, let me just reset the global property back to 0 for a second, back to what it was. Okay. If instead you'd have done it this way, I give that global property the same amount as we'd given the XP, so 50, you can see that it's a different amount, right? We're halfway to leveling up, but our progress slider is not even, well, possibly a quarter of the way, right? So if we give ourselves another 50, we will level up. We're level 3, and our slider has gone to 0 again, but we never filled the slider up. So the slider is disconnected from the actual XP, if that makes sense. So what we need to do when we level up, and the reason why I created a global property max XP, is we're going to do a bit of arithmetic, okay? So in our level up script, let's just go to our script editor. When we level up, what we also want to do is global.property max XP equals our player stat next XP, so whatever our current next goal is, minus the difference, i.e. what is our current XP. Now remember, and I'm not talking about this current XP, I'm talking about our stat XP, because remember, you can't lose XP. They're always going up, right? So when we level up from level 1 to 2, that will be 100, okay? When we then level up again, and this becomes 300, we'll have 200, right? So what we need to do is deduct player.stacked XP from it. So this will always be the difference between what's our current goal and what we've got. Okay? So now when we go to our user interface, we can set this maximum value back to the global property. Max XP. It's nice that it remembered that for me. And now we should have a slider which reflects that. So let's see where we're at. Right, now it's working. Okay, so we just gained 50 XP. Let's go kill this goblin and level up. Okay, the situation we've got now is we've got an empty bar, okay? But we can still see that we've got 100 XP. We still have that 100 XP, and we need 200 to level up, right? So when we gain another 50 and this becomes 150, we'll be halfway up the slider. So what should have happened behind the scenes is we set the global property to 0. The fact that we can print this to actually check. So let's print these global properties. So our global.property current XP is 0 because we've reset that. And our max XP should now be 200, take away 100. So it's 100, okay? So this basically is staying at 100. This progress bar is looking for 100%, okay? So if I gain another 50 XP, not only will that say 150, but this will go halfway. So player.stacked XP plus 50. Okay, and obviously, again, you need to update the global property. So let's just quickly do that because it's not connected. Global property current XP, but also plus 50. Now you see that's halfway. Okay, and then if we give ourselves another 50. We would then level up, and that would reset the progress slider, okay? And then now we've got 200, and we need 300 to level up. So again, if we print our current XP, it's 0. If we print our max XP, that should be 100 again. So it remains at 100 every time we level up because we're taking away this from this. So we're always taking away what we've got from what we need, okay? So if you constantly do that in your level up script, take away what you have from what you need and put it in this global property and set the other one to 0 whenever you level up, then you can set that on your slider and it will, reflect accurately how much XP you actually need to get to level up each time, even though you're setting this to 0, okay? And I kept these on the screen to show you the actual numbers that you actually have still, because you always have XP and you always are moving onwards, if that makes sense. You're always progressing and not actually resetting. So by having these on the screen as well, just shows you how much XP you actually have compared to this progress bar is just your progress to leveling up, whereas this is how much experience you have gained over the course of playing the game, right? So, because that can never go down, okay? So hopefully that's helped to explain how to make a progress slider that's always reflective of resetting every time you level up and shows how much you're progressing to the next level. You just need to remember that it's not going to be tied to your XP and your next XP because those don't reset. So if you want this to reset, you're going to have to sort of use global properties and a bit of mental arithmetic to sort of deduct what you have from what you need, and then that will give you your progress. And obviously if that's dynamic, because obviously at the moment it's always 100 because these are going up in hundreds. But if you suddenly then had a jump of 200, taking away what you need taking away what you have from what you need will give you that discrepancy, will give you that 200. So I mean, we can put that to the test. Let's delete these for a second. Let's add a level 2 at 100. And then let's add one at 300. So the difference between those two is 200, right? So let's quickly just make sure this works. So let's start by killing these 2 goblins. There's our 50 XP, halfway to level 2. We level up, and then it'll clear. If we now, we've got 100, right? Because we're level 2, but to get to level 3, we need 200, okay? So now if we print our global.property, current XP, with the underscore, that's 0, because that's been reset. And if we print our max XP, that should automatically be 200. And it is, because that's reflective of what the difference is between these, right? So if we were to gain 50, we'll just do 1. If we were to just gain an additional 50, and we did the same with the global property, then it would be reflective of not being halfway anymore. Gaining 50 is not halfway, okay? So hopefully that's made sense of how you can reset the slider while also having your XP always going up, okay? So that will bring us to the end of this video. Hope it was useful. If you have any questions on this, obviously do feel free to ask, but hopefully this has been fairly comprehensive in how to set things up. But yes, that will wrap up this video on XP and leveling. Stay tuned for the next tutorial. Thanks for watching.